Hey, HR Famous, it's Tim Sackett talking with my buddy Chris Dunn, CHRO of Kinetics, world famous RPO firm down in Atlanta. Chris, talk to me about the hottest position your team is working on right now.
Would you believe it if I said, Tim, marine biologist?
No,
Wow.
come on, no. That's not you guys have been healthcare for a long time. Marine biologists, tell me more.
Well, that's just a shout out to George Costanza on Seinfeld. Do you guys remember the episode when he told his girlfriend he wanted to impress a girl that he was a marine biologist and they were taking a romantic walk on the beach and a whale washed up and somebody yelled out, "Is anyone here a marine biologist?" And he was busted. So it's not marine biologist. Although we did just recently look at an engagement that included things like that. But obviously, it's healthcare on the RN side. It's like that's the exploding thing. And I know, like in the next couple of weeks, we're going to talk about like tightening marketplaces and the healthcare, like all forms of RN, like everything around it, super tight. I wish I could say marine biologist, Tim.
Because of the whole pandemic and COVID thing, everyone's kind of like, it was a weird kind of time for healthcare. Like there was like desperate need on like the ICU stuff, but then all of a sudden a lot of other like docs and offices and stuff had a hard time. But I was talking with a healthcare executive this week and like they were like, oh, we're opening 8 new hospitals this year and 16 in 2022. And I'm just like, the industry just does not stop. And she said their biggest critical issue was lack of RN talent.
Yeah. That's it in a nutshell, people.
All right.
Healthcare.
KineticsHR.com. Check them out. Chris, back to you, and let's get this thing started. Cam, hit the music.
All right, HR Famous, we're back. You heard him. He's Tim Sackett. We haven't heard from really the main person in this podcast yet, JLee. Jessica, how are you?
I like to just smirk and watch you guys do the cold read. It's just silently judge, say nothing.
You have to get involved. I thought I really brought it with the marine biologist George Costanza reference.
Yeah. It was good.
You beg to differ.
No, but I just don't remember George ever having a girlfriend. So I was trying to figure out, really?
Really? It seems like he always had
he was trying to date people, but
many attempts.
Yeah, they were attempts.
And not every Gen Z person right now is like going, what are you guys talking about?
That's like people I work with who don't know Jerry Maguire references, and it just it's heartbreaking.
Well, how do you guys feel about that, Tim? How do you feel? And I think I know what you're going to say, but should people like us, Gen X, and JLee, you're
old millennial.
You're a millennial, correct?
The oldest that exists, yeah.
Right. You're
the oldest millennial on the planet.
I think you're like honorary like Gen X, right?
Kind of, yeah.
You're like little sister Gen X.
Pre-Gen X.
Tim, I'll throw it to you. Do we care that younger millennials in Gen Z don't get our Gen X references? Do we care? That's the big question.
I don't care, but I hate explaining. But it's the same thing as like when my Gen Z kids are like, they like scoff at me when I don't get some TikTok reference, right? Like they're like, oh my God, it's a big, there's 14
You're a
billion,
dinosaur.
14 billion people watch this on TikTok. How can you be such an idiot? I'm like, I don't know.
That's bizarre because you do spend a lot of time on TikTok. Like,
it comes and goes, Jay. Like I haven't been on TikTok and I bet in 2 weeks. I haven't even opened the app.
Well, I would tell you, Jessica, I'm getting less references from TikTok from Tim Sackett over the last, really, now that I think about it, month and a half, 2 months. And I'm a little down about it. It's reduced my quality of life, Jessica.
Well, you know what?
That's
no, I've only been on Clubhouse once and I thought it was ridiculous. No, it's sports betting, live sports betting in Michigan.
Oh,
so
God.
now I sit there. Now I do live sports betting at night instead of being on TikTok. There's just another way to waste your time and money apparently. So
Jessica, one more thing before we hit some of the news items. Isn't it, if you have a young staffer and they're career minded and they're part of your team, isn't it the job of the young person to understand the references that you want to make in the workplace? doesn't that isn't that part of the trappings
No.
of leadership?
No, because the analogy or the parallel I would say is, me needing to know the world of sports and golf and things like that to, talk with dudes or other people in the office. No. Don't give in to the games of others. You be you and just
Cam, who's the producer of the pod, he actually went through is like trying to like watch like all these kind of Gen X movies, like 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, Jerry Maguire, because he gets the references, but he had never saw the movie, so he's trying to go through that library of all these kind of Gen X movies.
Why is he going through that? Is it for his job, Tim?
No, just I think his own purposes. He's into the movie stuff. He's gonna obviously run the Twitter for BuzzFeed for the Oscars kind of thing. So
cool.
I think the hard thing about that is it's getting harder to make references that everyone can understand. Like media is so like spread out these days. Like we don't have in the age of TikTok, all the streaming services, you don't have that critical mass that you used to have, Jessica, like you said, with the Jerry Maguire, right? It used to be, in the good old days, it used to be you could make a reference to Jerry Maguire and everybody would get it.
Although I feel like during the pandemic, there's been some stuff like everyone who doesn't know Tiger King, there have been some things.
It was funny that the 1 year anniversary of Tiger King came up, and I was like, God, that seems like a lifetime ago.
It does, right? It seems like 5 years ago. Speaking of pandemic, let's move to a couple of news items here on HR Famous. And Jessica, I'm going to come back to you with this one. Citi Group CEO Jane Fraser has called for Zoom-free Fridays and a new bank holiday because, hey, they needed another bank holiday as pandemic fatigue grows. So first of all, Zoom-free Fridays, nobody gets on Zoom, or you're trying to limit the amount of Zoom people have. And it's gotten so out of control, apparently, that she called for a Zoom-free Friday. Jessica, how do you feel about that? Let's start the conversation there.
So Zoom-free, also known as a conference call, if it's a Zoom-free meeting, you're just having a conference call. That's what it is. I'm confused by that, as people have talked about.
It would be funny if Citi Group said no more video conference calls, but just regular conference calls.
Yes, we're just having a regular conference call where you put it on speakerphone and you can't tell who, and you just all speak over each other. I think if we're going to truly do Zoom Free Friday and not have it even be, it can't be conference call Friday instead. You just have to have meeting free Friday. You got to go, you got to do the right thing. I'm not for a day of traditional conference calls. I pass on that.
Got it. No, so you'd rather have Zoom than a traditional conference call. JLee, have you turned that corner here in the pandemic? Are you all the way through to the other side? As Jim Morrison once said?
Yes. Well, no, I've had some calls recently, or, if someone's camera is broken, as they say, which I never believe. My camera's not working. I can't
Cell phone's not working either. Can't hear you. What?
It's I think it erodes the experience, and we're talking over each other. You can't read body language. You can't put a finger up to say oh, I want to say something. And it really gets on my nerves when we have to deal with that dynamic. Everyone's like, oh, no, you go ahead. And it's just awkward. So we gotta be able to see cues and leverage that to be, better communicators. I want cameras.
So Jessica Lee is all the way to the future. She has self-actualized, Tim Sackett. What say you about Zoom-free Fridays, Tim?
I almost shared with you a programmer actually put together a Zoom widget that you can download, and it basically you can push the different things. You can push so it will interrupt, you have a bad connection, or that it will blur. You do all, or that you hear a dog barking or a doorbell ringing, so you have to go, hey, wait a minute, guys, I gotta go. Someone's at the door. And you can actually. Yeah. Oh, it's so amazing. I like it. I don't know if I would do it Friday. I might do it Monday. Can you imagine if you had no meetings on a Monday? How you could start your week off so much more productive. We tend to jam a million meetings on Monday, so then people are so we can get the week started off right. By the way, The worst possible way to start my week is a bunch of freaking meetings. Stop that.
So Monday are traditionally, that's where I was going, Tim. I wanted to talk about if you were going to do Zoom free anything, what day of the week would it be? I don't think it's Friday, right? Because I think Friday is light enough anyway. You kind of like see the weekend and you want to go there. I think almost every company I've ever been with has meetings early in the week. I think I've worked for a couple of leaders that didn't want to do a lot of Monday stuff because they just want to come in and get set. But most of the people that I've worked for and worked with have operational meetings on Monday. My pick, Jessica, is Thursday. Let me tell you why Thursday makes sense, whether it's Zoom free Thursday. I had to think about that for a second. Real original, like I'm branding here. Zoom free Thursday, or Jessica, to your point, meeting free Thursday. Here's why I like Thursday. Monday, whether you have meetings or not, you're just trying to like get the band back together, right? You're just trying to like, let's figure this out.
Get the flywheel
what I got
started.
going on. If you were good enough not to work over the weekend, that's especially true. You're just trying to get back in the groove. Tuesday, this sounds like a Beatles record now that I'm thinking about it. Tuesday, similar stuff, gaining momentum. Here's why I like Thursday, Jessica. Thursday has always been my favorite day of the work week, to get things done, to think and to do things, because the clutter of the front of the work week is gone. Friday is going to be Friday. Like Friday is going to feel good unless you get like bad news from a work perspective. Friday is going to feel good. Thursday seems like that sweet spot where, JLee, if you did Zoom free or meeting free Thursday, imagine the work you could get done. You're still fresh enough to care. All the meetings are gone. You know what's in front of you. No Zoom calls, no being on video like this. And it's just you and your Mac accomplishing a lot of shit. JLee, what do you think?
No, I still got to see you. I still got to meet with you. No.
What about
but
meeting
you
free
could call
Thursday?
it, if you're really going to go for this, it's like, no, we don't need to call it Zoom. We can call it like no Teams Tuesday, no Teams Thursday, Teamsless Thursday.
Teamless Thursday.
So for you, it's more, but that's what your meeting free day is, right? It's like everybody goes away and everybody works and adds value.
To be fair and real, we try to actually do no meetings on Friday. Like Friday is our work day, and we try to really limit. And I try to make sure that I'm not scheduling things with my team on Fridays. So I try to honor that. But I take beef with the no Zoom. I don't want to be on a conference call with you. I need to see you.
It's interesting, and I don't see anything in the stuff that I have to know if Zoom free means no conference calls. I agree with you. It should be that way. Tim, you raised an interesting point. I heard you coming in there. So we're going to do innovation, work on your own stuff Friday. I love it that you're coming in old school. Rust Belt all the way. Come in and let's figure out what the workers are doing. Go Tim Sackett.
Well, and I'm in Michigan, so like we have like 90 days of warm weather. So when I hear no meeting Fridays, all I hear is I'm getting to the cabin early on Friday and everybody in the world. And that's been, it's typical of the auto industry. Like if you try to schedule a meeting or do anything on a Friday, it's not going to happen. Those, like, especially, we do a lot of engineering stuff. Engineering managers in the summer in Michigan or the north, like it's impossible. So they tend to, like, a lot of companies actually go with like half day Friday summer schedules and stuff like that, like weird kind of stuff, just because they know it's like no one's freaking working. When you have 90 days of good weather and you only have 12 weekends, no one's working on a Friday, or very little gets done on a Friday, a minimal amount.
I feel like Amazon's going to do half day Fridays for their workers. I'm joking.
I think
there's a lot of news about Amazon in terms of like monitoring workers and things like that.
And Amazon's doing no Zoom Sundays.
Have your Sunday.
They're doing no free time Saturdays, Tim. It's going great. Productivity is through the roof, and it's
14-hour
so
day
good.
Saturday.
Hey, before we leave, Jessica, I kind of feel like you. I feel like a lot of people have made it through and they're done with audio conference calls. I think a significant portion of the professional workforce now expects video. And it's like one of those things, right? When we used to be in the office and we were talking, Tim disagrees, but I agree with this. When we used to be in the office and we were meeting, if we were separate, conference calls were fine. But now I don't think they are. I think everybody expects video, Jessica. You agree?
Yeah, I do. I think everyone expects it, but it's also there's a ratio of how many people. If it's 1-to-1, that might be a time where you could cut it, or if it's just a quick call, you don't need to be on video. But yeah, I think it's here. It's here to.
I do. I've had people tell me recently I'm doing one-on-one calls where I just say, "Oh, here's my phone number. Call me," right? And they'll go, "Wow, it seems so nice not having to jump on a video call and just actually talk to you on a phone call versus all the video calls." Now, again, that's a one-on-one. If it's multiple people, much easier, I think, to do the video stuff because you don't have that, that loss of translation of somebody just sitting there that's like, "Ugh, I don't agree with you,"
Have you ever been to a webinar where the topic was great, but there wasn't enough time to ask questions or have a dialogue to learn more? Well, welcome to HR and Payroll 2.0, the podcast where those post-webinar questions become episodes. We feature HR practitioners, leaders, and founders of HR, payroll, and workplace innovation and transformation sharing their insights and lessons learned from the trenches. We dig in to share the knowledge and tips that can help modern HR and payroll leaders navigate the challenges and opportunities ahead. So join us.
Oh, I heard of a trend that someone is doing in my office. We haven't started it, but this is one route I'm willing to go. It's if you're going to have a Zoom-free call, a traditional conference call, it's like honor system, but everyone is doing something active, like they're walking, they're on their bike, and it's like trying to, get people moving and be, into wellness and all that kind of good stuff. I like that. I thought that's a good angle.
I just got signed up to do a series of conferences, like roadshow conferences, where my 30-minute session is the walking session. So everyone is supposed to get up, go out, walk for 30 minutes, and just listen to the sweet, soulful sounds of Tim Sackett.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I'm finally getting outside for some vitamin D, and in my ear is Tim Sackett talking.
Okay, everybody, hey, let's start to warm up. Get a little stretch in there, side to side.
Tim Sackett talking about obscure HR tech initiatives. It's amazing. Timmy Tech Tuesdays outside. It's unbelievable. Hey, by the way, before we move on to marijuana in your workforce, that's a little tease. That's a Mike Greeny tease into the next segment. I should say that Citi Group, I promised you this, they're also doing a holiday, another banking holiday, firm-wide holiday called Citi Reset Day, as COVID pandemic fatigue takes a toll on employees. So I feel like she's trying to win the approval rating, right? She's trying, if there's an approval rating on Glassdoor, I feel like she's trying to win that as a fairly new CEO because she just took over for her predecessor this month, right? So she's coming in hot, looking for the 100% approval rating.
Have you guys been into a banking branch in the last year?
I have.
I have too. By the way, I was the only customer in that branch. Every single time, I've probably maybe 4 times in the last 12 months. I was the only customer. Nobody. There's probably 5 workers, maybe 6, and me every single time I go in.
Yeah, I heard the people in the cubes that would help you if you're trying to do something, right? Not the teller. I heard them taking a lot of calls. I heard a guy come in and sit down to spend 30 minutes telling his personal banker about how he was just making bank day trading, which is the first sign that you're not making bank if you're talking about making bank. Hey, before we go to Pot in the Workplace, Citi Reset Day. JLee, can you imagine there being an HRU Tech Reset Day? It'll never happen.
Every week, Saturday, Sunday, Reset Day.
We do a half day Sunday reset.
That is the response of Tim Sackett. HRU Tech Reset Day. Be on the lookout for it. All right, next topic. Tim, I'm coming to you first on this. 5 White House staffers fired over marijuana use. Obviously, we've got a new incoming administration that's been in place for roughly 60 days. And, this will be a couple weeks old by the time we air this episode, but it's timely. It's a good conversation. Press Secretary Jen said Friday that 5 White House staffers were no longer employed over their use of marijuana as part of the vetting process for security clearances. And obviously the Biden administration came under fire, that numerous young staffers have been penalized for past marijuana use, including in states where it's legal, even though they were told that it wouldn't be. Daily Beast, Tim, first reported a couple weeks ago that dozens of young White House staffers had either been asked to resign, were suspended, or, my favorite, put in a remote work program. You can work for the administration. You can't be in the White House or the associated
Chris, can you go
buildings.
be high at home and put together that press release? Thank you.
Hey, so Frederick, Maryland, good location for you. Not actually in D.C. Anyway, all of that happened over past marijuana use. And, it's kind of one of those things, Tim, where, they hired people. They've got these incoming people to be staffers as part of the administration. Security clearances, as it turns out, take longer to troll through. And whether it's active drug tests or field reporting, whatever, they're doing an ex post facto employment call once people are actually employed. So, Tim, there's a lot of terra firma you can cover there. I'll just throw it to you.
I actually have my secret security clearance. Being a government cleared facility, I had to get that, being the owner of the company.
Critical employee, JLee.
Yeah, so be careful what you say. Everything's being recorded. No, I think it was, to me, the learning was, like, if you apply to the FBI, they had a 2-year limit. You can't have had recreational, can't really have any kind of marijuana or other kind of illicit drugs for 2 years. CIA was only 1 year. And then they said the White House has like tons of flexibility, but I think traditionally it was like never, which I'm like, wait a minute. We had many presidents like Clinton that came out and said, yeah, hey, I smoke pot,
No, he didn't inhale though, right?
Okay. So that was
trying to fit in, JLee. Just trying to fit in and just, he put it to the lips and that was it.
Is this 2021 or what? Like, who cares if these kids are out there and smoke pot in college or whatever? Like, we're seriously not going to let them have a job as a staffer in the White House because they ate an edible at a frat party, back in 2018. Like, that seems like the dumbest thing ever. Now, the one thing I didn't understand, and there's more to this story, because it was like 100 plus that actually said on their questionnaire that they had recreational marijuana in the last 12 months. And yet only 5 of them were like, hey, you're out of here. So I'm wondering if they're using that as a way to easily get rid of some like low performer type folks. Or maybe those people were like, hey, not only did I use it in the past, I am currently right now high as I'm at work. Like, there's something there that we don't know.
Yeah. I mean, this is so hard because I feel like I can't even keep up with what states are legalizing it. And I think also the other thing is, separate from recreational use, like medicinal use is up, and the ability to get like a medical marijuana card and like the criteria of things that you potentially could use medical marijuana for.
Oh, yeah. Scared of the dark.
Yeah.
Like,
it's crazy. And like, so I think this is going to continue to be hard. One of the things I also think about is like, I haven't decided when it comes to marijuana use, like, given it's like becoming more prevalent, commonly accepted, legal, like how will I deal with this when it comes to my own children? That is a topic for another day. But the thing that I think about is these guys were actually honest with their paperwork, right? They could have easily just lied and said, no, I have never done it. I am squeaky clean. In some ways, one of the things here is that they were honest. They did the right thing. They were fully transparent, and they were told, according to some of the reports, that like, we want you to like be honest, and this is not going to be a thing that you'll be penalized for. And then they were. So that part's kind of shady.
Hey, this isn't the Trump White House. This is the Biden White House. It's okay to smoke pot. Nope. Turns out probably not.
Hey, I like,
Katie,
go ahead, Tim.
No, my question to you was, do we feel like as HR pros that pot, marijuana will become like alcohol in the workplace, right? Like you can't show up drunk, you can't show up high, but if you use it, no one cares.
Well,
I mean,
I think that
there's some industries though where like they seriously have to grapple with this question like from a hiring perspective, like where like use of it may be more prevalent with certain kinds of populations, or who are more attracted to certain kinds of jobs or industries. So it's like a legit thing that like has to be grappled with. You might not be able to use it as like a screening or hiring criteria because like you need to hire people.
I'm gonna come in and zig a little bit here. I would tell
To our
you,
zag.
yeah, you're zagging. I'm gonna zig, I think. And like, so when you say like, hey, there are going to be some industries where, like, the candidate pool, like, I think it's a good point, JLee, right? The candidate pool is going to have a higher prevalence of marijuana use than the rest of the population. I think I'm going to say, you know what, there are some jobs. And I think it's sloppy by the Biden administration. I mean, that's one thing I think both of you have alluded to. The Biden administration should have been tighter with what their requirement was going to be. What I would tell you is I'm not sure. Well, no, I am sure. I'm sure that I'm okay with the Biden administration, like whatever threshold this was, and we don't know, right? Because hundreds of people saying that they had used, 5 go out. If that number is correct, does that mean it was really recent? Was there a security like thing that went through that said, hey, it's more than this? Like, we just don't know. I'm okay. Like, if the leader of the free world and my president says, or people that he trusts say, you know what, this is the threshold, we don't need this, I'm okay. And by the way, some numbers, because like as kind of people came out on this and they were kind of challenging it. First of all, got to be better. Like, all of us as employers have to be better. We can't allow somebody to be in the job and then to say that the goal line and the target has changed. But related to what we actually want in a job, especially with the job with any type of like proximity to anything security related. Here's a Gallup poll from 2019, and I think these numbers are still pretty true. 52%, this is from a Yahoo poll in 2017, of Americans have used marijuana at some point in their lives. Okay, that's a clear case to say if somebody like discloses that, like on a form that they have used it, so what? It's like half of America. But the 2019 Gallup poll found about 12% of Americans regularly smoke marijuana. It is higher with younger people, JLee. That's like one of those audiences. What I would tell you, I think this is one of those things where I know employment law is becoming more liberal related to what we should allow. And I think that's going to happen like in normal businesses, and I'm okay with that. But JLee, I'm cool. You're in the DC area. I'm cool like with the president and the people he relies on saying, you know what? We're not, this is the threshold. Sorry, we messed up, but like you can't work here or you can't be in DC if you're going to support us. I think it's okay. Like, not, like I would feel the same way about somebody who's a heavy alcohol user. And by the way, I just changed the goalposts on you there if you didn't like notice. Recreational marijuana use, heavy alcohol user, an alcoholic. I just changed the goalposts on you, but I'm okay. Like, every job isn't for every person. JLee, any reaction?
Well, I just want to go back to the remote work location of Frederick, Maryland. I'll tell you
Yes.
how remote it is, because I know exactly where it is. People call Frederick, Maryland, Fredneck, Maryland. That's like the nickname
Yes.
for it. So it's like way out there. Actually, it's not really that way out there, but so there's a thing here of like the administration wanting to hold their people accountable and have like certain kinds of standards. Maybe they botched some of it with whatever they communicated to these people early on. But, I think that there were prior administrations where like security clearances couldn't be gained because of whatever reasons. And I don't know if it was the same level of rigors. So I don't know if some of it is also them wanting to set a standard of we're rigorous. We have, a point of view on what is acceptable for who works in the White House and trying to, show up and be different. So I think standards are good, but, is
Hey,
this the right
Tim.
one?
Yeah.
Tim, you do a lot of government work. Drew Dunn engineering student. Like
Yep.
one of the things that's on his mind is he thinks he wants to work for a defense contractor, and he's been told that from a top security clearance like perspective that it's best for him not to travel abroad. It
makes it easier for him to get that clearance for sure.
Correct. That's the thing, right? So Drew Dunn, who probably isn't your top candidate to take a trip, like a backpacking trip, like across Europe anyway, he won't go. Like he won't do it because he wants to reserve the right to be fast tracked, to your point, Tim, like related to that security clearance if that's what he wants to end up doing.
Well, and there's a desperate need for top security clearance, like technical people as well. Like, so if you have that, even if you don't have a lot of background, like your value is like through the roof. Like it's crazy the money those people can make.
Another thing from the co-op kind of season for Drew as he looked for an engineering co-op. Jessica, you'll love this one. So we're talking about like pot use, and I'm defending it for the White House, tip of the spear of America, blah, blah, blah. One of the things that came up in at least 2 out of like the 5 employers he was talking to is you had to be nicotine free at these big brands. So what I would tell you is, isn't it ironic, right? I'll give you another Gen X like reference there. Isn't it ironic that, we're protecting, and by the way, I don't mean you, Jessica, and I don't mean Tim, but collectively, we're having this progressive conversation about marijuana. Meanwhile, at least 2 of 5 big brands that Drew was talking to, you have to be nicotine free in order to work here, and you'll be tested on that along with everything else. Interesting, right,
that's
Jessica?
a health insurance cost issue, right?
Yeah. Totally.
Say it again, Jessica.
It's a health. Exactly as Tim was saying, it's a health insurance cost issue. Like smokers on your payroll are going to be more expensive with all of the claims and things that they will incur being on your health plan. So I can see that. I actually hadn't heard of this as a thing. I didn't know that's where we're going. That's interesting.
And by the way, I'm not being facetious, and we need to get out of here. We're running a little long, but I think I get like the reason it's there. But I'm just interested, and I don't smoke, and encourage my kids stay away from that really. Anyway, so I get why it's there, but it's interesting, right? Like we're protecting marijuana smoking, but hey, if you have a pack of Cools, can't work here. It'd be interesting to know for those same employers. I'm assuming that marijuana use is a no-go for them as well. Go ahead, Jessica.
I didn't. A pack of Cools. Is that a brand? I don't know. A pack of.
Do you know any other brands of cigarettes?
Yeah, Marlboro. Like Camels. Marlboros. I can't remember.
I know. I won't make fun of you.
Is Marlboro, is that like a 4-syllable word if you're
Marlboro?
JLee?
Can you sing that line? I think you were, your reference to a Gen X. Sing that line.
The Marlboro Man. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Cool. Ironic? Cool is the thing. Jessica, it's spelled with a K. I would encourage you. You probably haven't been in a convenience store in a while, right? But if you go in, avoid the ones that cook chicken inside, because we talked about that a couple pods ago. That'll get on your clothes. And then just ask the clerk for a pack of Cools, and he will give them to you. That's a great place to end.
Hard pack or
the
soft
whole cigarette brand conversation. We're going to end it there. That's HR Famous for this week. Tim Sackett, your favorite pack of smokes. What's your favorite brand, even though you don't smoke?
Marlboro Lights.
I would be Marlboro Menthol Lights.
Oh,
yeah, menthol. What's the deal about menthol, Jessica? Is that a female thing? The menthol?
No, I just think a little mint in that is like a little minty flavor.
Okay, I've never smoked. I'll leave you with this, folks. Lucky Strike, unfiltered. Ooh, if you're going to do it, let's go all the way. All right, I'm Chris Dunn. For Jessica Lee, for Tim Sackett. That's HR Famous for this week. Until next time, friends, we are out.